Every August, the thrill of the off-season reaches its peak in Boise. Cotton candy skies illuminate a summer send-off with a sweet goodbye. It's a moment to embrace one last spin before you bump into the most anticipated time of the year that always seems to arrive at a supersonic speed. Rising waters signal it's time to take a dip in the blue. And there's only one way to prepare yourself for the roller coaster of emotions of football season.
Into the clear, to the 40, to the 50, to the 40, hurdles a man, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown, Ashton Jetty.
With a Heisman hopeful leading the way, the Spencer Danielson era is here, and the Broncos believe
it's not doing the small things right.
They're built different.
Bilstead gets the snap, rush closes in, another sack. This time it's Hassanin. Madsen quarterback draw, 5, and he's into the end zone.
Maddox, Jeter, Madsen. If that's not a winner, I don't know what the heck is.
There's a lot of great excitement and buzz, and our players deserve that. But we got to continue to earn it every single day.
As the climb begins for one of the most anticipated falls in Boise State football history, the Broncos are trying to hit new heights.
Now, a special presentation from the KTVB Newsroom. Bronco Roundup Game Day starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to the surface of the sun. I'm Jay Tust coming at you live from Statesboro, Georgia, where the Boise State football team is less than an hour from kicking off the 2024 season against Georgia Southern. These two programs have never met before, but they have a lot of similarities. Both of them had success at the FCS level before jumping up to the FBS level. You can see the Broncos taking the field, and both of them have had a ton of success at the FBS level. So Boise State beginning to take the field here at Paulson Stadium. We're going to take you as close as we can to kick off here on Bronco Roundup Game Day. Brady Frederick is going to join me in just a second. Same with Boise State Director of Athletics Jeremiah Dickey. We have him standing by. But first things first, this is about kicking off not only the season but the Spencer Danielson era. All week long, he talked about the importance of a fast start for his football team, noting Boise State hasn't had a season opening win since 2020. That's why it's important to get one today against Georgia Southern.
Everything we do is earn the right to win game one. We have to do that. That is an action that you have to do, from how you're in the training room to how you walk through to how we install to how we go through practice to how we handle this travel. But so much for me is, are we ready and are we playing fast? Those are the two things that I hit our staff on. Is I want to make sure game one, when we watch our team, we know our team is ready and they are playing fast.
Looking at the details, really, like just being a player-led team. You know, we talking every year, we can't start fast. It can't take us 2 games to ease into it or to figure it out. No, we have to do that in practice. We have to do that in meetings. We have to do that, like, just talk to each other. And being a player-led team, it's a huge thing, and it's a huge part. And it's like, we can't just talk about it, but do about it. Like, we can't just keep it like, yeah, like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No, actually show it in practice so we can do it in the game.
Welcome back live at Paulson Stadium, kicking off the 2024 season, and Boise State Director of Athletics Jeremiah Dickey joins us. You went with all black today, bud.
Yeah, man or mouse, Jay, man or mouse. Yeah.
You're from the South, or at least spent time down here.
Yeah.
What the heck? This is real.
Yeah, it is real, and it's not something that, like, I just walked into. I'm like, oh yeah, I've gotten used to that Boise weather, but this is, I'm pumped. This is exciting, whether or not, and it's not that hot. I mean, we'll battle through it, but we're prepared and we're ready to go.
I was going to say, the players and coaches definitely prepared. I'm the only one complaining. It's okay. We sat down and had a chat the other day, Jeremiah, and you shared a story about how some of the guys off this team came up to you and said, hey, this was our toughest fall camp yet, but we loved it, right?
Yes.
It's amazing how Spencer can get a lot of work done and still get the players to enjoy it. What do you admire about his process and how he's able to achieve that?
One, I think it starts with how authentic he is. He has not changed. He's been the same guy as the D coordinator, as he was as the interim, as he is now as the head coach, and that's important. And I think kids nowadays, they feel that, they want that level of trust and appreciation in the relationship and all the things that matter to any relationship. And, they also said that they would run through a wall for him, and they understand that they have to prepare. There's a lot of high expectations for us, which is why we're all here, and we embrace that. And so I'm really excited to see how they come out and perform and play for their brothers and ultimately for Spencer as the leader of that program.
I'm going to get to the expectations in just a minute here, but first, we saw what Spencer was able to achieve in such a short window as the interim head coach last, November, December, when they went on to win a Mountain West Conference championship despite having a 1% chance to do so. How different do you think it'll look now that Spencer has had 259 days since the last time the Broncos played, not that I'm counting, in order to build that culture?
I would expect it to be very similar. I think he spent a lot of time as a D coordinator building those relationships, and that's just continued into the offseason. Obviously, he is in a different role and has to be more CEO than maybe coach and not as involved in the X's and O's, but the guy doesn't sleep. His level of energy and who he is and how he shows up, he has been consistent from day one. I think everyone's kind of waiting for that shoe to drop of like, oh, he's human, and ultimately no one's perfect, and Spencer will be the first one to tell you he is learning. But I've been really impressed with how he's leaning on his staff and leaning on people like Coach Pete and others. He wants to perfect this, and he wants to do what's right, and our purpose is so much greater than winning football games. I do believe the wins are going to come, and we have high expectations this season, but Spencer's really embraced his role as a member of this community, department, and a leader.
So it's something that's so interesting on this side of it, is the media side of it. Sometimes you feel like coaches are trying to hide stuff. Spencer, he wants everything to be seen almost, because there is a certain level of transparency, and as you said, he's a very genuine person, and it's been a lot of fun to cover this team. When it comes to those expectations, this is something we talked about probably ad nauseum here at Jeremiah, but Boise State now has legitimate access to the college football playoff if they take care of business. How big is that for your university?
It's massive. This is what we've wanted, right? Group of Five has wanted this. We now have a seat at the table, and we're going to fight like hell for it. Obviously we have some control on that. We got to go out and win games, and everyone understands that, and it's not to add pressure to the team, but that's why you become a Bronco. It's not much has changed from wanting to go to a Fiesta Bowl and now having this new opportunity in terms of a CFP. Those Kellen Moore years, they should have been in the playoff or BCS or whatever it was at that point in time. It feels like forever ago. Now we have that opportunity, and I think there's an urgency, and these guys are locked in. They're playing for each other, and they're locked arms, and that culture does matter. If anything ever mattered off the field of play, it's this year, and everything they've done this offseason and how they've served in the community and their academics. And I've had the least amount of problems in a football program that I've ever had in my history in athletics. That's a testament to these guys. That's a testament to these coaches. There's a different level of care, and that's something I really appreciate as a leader.
I think you see it in action too. Spencer doesn't just talk the talk; he walks the walk. Yes. And talking like a guy like Jonah Dalmas, his 5th year in the program, he's been here forever. He said that he wants to help take this program places it hasn't been, which would be the college football playoff. I will say this, Jonah. Actually, you'd just be coming back potentially to the place you started the year, because the College Football National Championship is in Georgia this year. Jeremiah, recently you guys announced 20,000 season tickets. That is a big-time milestone. It hasn't been achieved at Boise State in about a decade, I believe. How proud are you of Bronco Nation right now?
It's hard to put words to it, Jay. That's something that when you plan the work the plan, and this started 3.5 years ago, being my 4th season, and when you look at the team behind the team and our staff and why we added a season ticket team and why we created the external unit like we did and the infrastructure to support it, we have to be prepared for the success when it happens, and we are prepared, and Bronco Nation has stepped up. I can't say enough about them. 6 games, 6 sellouts, and they've embraced it. You look at our first 3 games, and I believe we're going to get there, and belief is a powerful thing, and with the CFP and with the offseason we had and the momentum we have, I believe in epic, and everything counts, everything matters, and you look at what we've done and the fan support that we have, it's powerful, and that's something that it's not lost on me. I don't take it for granted. A lot of teams, I saw the stats come out in terms of what other Mountain West programs are doing, and it's impressive. And obviously my goal is to take the brand I inherited and to elevate it. We're bar raisers, and we're going to continue to raise the bar. And as long as I'm here, we're not going to stop, and we're going to keep grinding, chopping wood, and our team's behind me in that, and I'm really grateful.
I'll get you out of here on this one. We talk about how transparent and fun Spencer Danielson can be. I mean, he's kind of taken a chapter from the book of Jeremiah Dickey as well. I'm just going to leave this, it's kind of an open-ended question here, but I'm just going to ask you what's next. Because what's on your mind? What is next for you?
Well, obviously, my mind doesn't stop, Jay. In my mind, we're done with the north end zone and we're moving forward. Now I'm pivoting to the east side of the stadium. I'm looking at extra mile. We have the Ox Gym that we're also looking at. We have a bunch of smaller projects, I would say, that are a couple $1 million here or there. I'm bullish on our future, and I believe we can do epic, and it takes a team to do that. I believe we have the right people in our foxhole, and we're not going to stop. As long as I'm here, we're not stopping. We cannot stop. Our industry is changing. The house settlement, revenue share, we are going to compete, and that is going to continue to be my call to action to Bronco Nation and anyone who's stepping up to support us. We need the help. We're grateful for it, and it's what's next.
The man that sets the pace of the race, and it's not a walk, it's not a jog, it's a sprint. Go get in some shade, Jeremiah. We appreciate you. Absolutely. Jeremiah Dickey, the Director of Athletics here at Boise State. As I said, back in Boise, standing by is our very own Brady. Frederick, Brady. Oh, man, I am jealous of those air-conditioned studios right now, but happy game day, my friend.
Well, Jay, happy game day to you as well. Happy game day to everybody in Bronco Nation tuning in. I got to say, it does get a little stuffy this time of the year in the studio, so we're probably going through something similar that you're dealing with out in Georgia Southern right now. I'll tell you what, man, it was exciting this morning when we were doing the show. When we're less than an hour away, though, right now, you can really feel this energy. Boise State about to finally kick off one of the most anticipated seasons in a while, and of course the dawn officially of the Spencer Danielson era. It wasn't too long ago that we watched this entire team rally around him, go beat the odds and win a Mountain West championship, but now we see if they can carry that over into the 2024 season.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think everybody's excited. Jonah Dalmas' mom just arrived. She's waving at me from the stands. And Brady, how about this? If there was ever any question if Boise State was going to take care of business today, Avery Williams texted me moments ago. He's about to arrive. He will be in the house at today's game. He plays just up the road for the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, they get a little bit of a down weekend, so he's coming to support the alma mater. Brady, I'll be right back with you. But before we do that, let's get to the main storyline heading into fall camp.
I get to go out with my teammates game one, and that's kind of what I worked for. Boise State football is the biggest thing in Idaho, so there's obviously responsibility, but I think the best way to put it is I got a bunch of guys around me that are going to go make plays. We've got 8 wide receivers that are ballers, 5 running backs that could play anywhere around the country right now, and our O-line is as dominant as they come. I mean, I have my own confidence internally. I know the player I am. And like I said, when there's so many guys around me, how could I not be confident?
You can see the guys warming up live on the field. Number 24, Dylan Riley, a true freshman running back, making the trip to Statesboro. And then you have the pride of Eagle High School, Ethan Makita. He's battled some injuries throughout his career, missed a little bit of time during fall camp, but he is on the field today, could be a big-time special teams contributor. And how about number 27, right next to these guys? Talk about another local product, Caden Chan, just off to the right of your screen right here. And a kid that played at Mountain View High School, went to the JC level, and then came back. And now he is playing for his hometown team, the Boise State football team. You got the offensive lineman crossing your picture right now. And how about number 2, Ashton Genty, right in front of you, the Heisman hopeful, jogging out to midfield, ready to go for one of the more anticipated individual seasons in the history of this Boise State football program. Already has a Heisman campaign going for him. But back to that quarterback battle in Maddox Madsen. It was a big-time storyline going into fall camp. Who would earn the right to start for the Boise State football team as QB1? Would it be the former 5-star high school recruit that transferred to Boise State from USC, or the undersized, constantly overlooked Maddox Madsen? Well, the day after fall camp concluded, we all found out that head coach Spencer Danielson did indeed name Maddox QB1, and recently this week, we caught up with Coach D and Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, for the first time since that decision was made, and they told us why.
But right now, going into game one, Maddox Madsen has deserved the right to be our starting quarterback with how he's played, how he's led, and he earned it, and he gives us the best opportunity to win game one. He's a master of our offense. He understands how to run it. He understands how to get the ball in playmakers' hands, and he's smart with the football.
I mean, if you ever looked at how many words are in those calls, I mean, there's a lot. You got to be able to rattle that stuff off fast. You got to be able to repeat it. We're a lot of different things at the line of scrimmage based on what the defense is doing. You have to make quick decisions. You have to be able to communicate it. You have to know what everything means and then what the checks are off of that. So the verbiage is the same as they used last year. We changed some of the schemes, but we didn't change the verbiage. So, he probably knows that better than I do, that part of it.
I trust him. And I know he's going to go out there and make right decisions. He's not going to be perfect, doesn't need to be. No player on our team is going to be perfect. But he's going to stay in the fight, he's going to keep swinging, and he's going to lead our team.
I'm going to guess it's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke there by Dirk Cutter. But, Brady, how about that? Dirk's going to be coaching in his 42nd career season opener today. And he went as far as praising Maddox Madsen by saying he might know the verbiage of the playbook better than the offensive coordinator does. Again, a little bit of a joke, but I love the sarcasm by the veteran leader of the offense.
Hey, I mean, anything that Dirk Cutter says, I believe it. We just heard on College Game Day today, Nick Saban said that he spent a long time trying to get Dirk Cutter to come out to Alabama and being his offensive coordinator. Of course, Boise State seems to have won out in that battle. I'll tell you, this quarterback competition, the first controversial moment of the Spencer Danielson era, and I really think they handled it extremely well. They were transparent the entire way. They explained what they were looking for. They explained why Maddox Madsen was going to be the winner, and I think it's pretty exciting to see, how he was earned it, how he's a fighter, how he was able to get the starting job not once, but twice, because he did it last year as well. The chip on Maddox's shoulder is just awesome. I love seeing how confident it has made him. I'm ready to watch him go out there and sling it today.
I agree with you, man, and I think he kind of embodies what Boise State's all about. Those undersized guys, not even undersized guys, the overlooked guys with a chip on their shoulder. Maddox will certainly have that. And by the way, Brady, I heard that Nick Saban said that on College Game Day. And not that I would ever imply that Nick's a liar, but he is exactly right. Was able to confirm that did indeed happen, and it was right around the time that Dirk was hanging around in the NFL and ended up staying in the NFL. But I'm sure we'll get more on that story at this week's press conference. As we move along, like we said, and as you can see, it is hot down here. As we adjust to these climates, or the climate, the Boise State football team did that long ago. Let's send you back to Boise and see how the Broncos got ready for this moment.
Come on! Let's go! Yeah.
I would say it really challenges us mentally, more than anything.
Inferno is like going through hell and back. It's supposed to be that way, and it's supposed to be hard. Coach D and the staff did a good job of making it even more extreme than we'll see playing down in Georgia.
From the moment you're in there, from the moment you leave, you're sweating. By the end of practice, your shoes got puddles in them, the ground's wet. It's a pretty intense practice.
Guys get sweaty. We're in Boise. It gets hot out here, but nothing like what we'll see when we go to Georgia. So I think just the mental aspect of can we do our job when, we're tired and it's humid in there, it's hot. You got to still be able to think and execute.
Humidity adds a whole nother factor to it. Our nutrition staff, they're super dialed, fluids with salts, whatever it may be, to make sure that we have what we need, electrolytes, to stay on the field.
You gotta have fun with it. If you think about it, it's gonna be bad for you, but if you fly around and just play hard like it's another regular day, then it's another regular day for you out there in the office.
At the end of the day, it's on us to practice hard and to get in shape and be able to handle a heavy workload.
Boise State, by the way, 11-3 all-time when the temperature is 90 degrees and above at kickoff. It's supposed to be about 89, 90 when things kick off the day. So I'd say, hey, that's a good thing for the Broncos. Another good thing for the Broncos is the fact that Avery Williams, one of the all-time greats to ever rock the blue and orange, is in attendance. just a short drive away from you, Avery, playing for the Falcons. A little off weekend. Had to come support the alma mater, I assume.
Of course. I got to see my Broncos. It was a little 3.5-hour drive. Something easy, man. I got to see my boys. I got to support. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the guys.
What do you think about the job Coach Danielson has done? He was in a much different role when you played here. Yeah. Now he is the leader of this program.
Yeah, I've seen Coach Danielson. I remember when he first came in, he was a GA. He gets moved up to position coach. He moves up to DC or co-DC, and then DC, and now he's a head coach, man. One of the most blessed guys I know, and I know it means nothing more, to him to represent this team and lead this team, with just such a great tradition. So I know he's excited about this.
Why do you think his way works, Avery? He is very open. He is transparent. He is passionate. Why does his way work?
He's open and transparent just because he's a man of God. He truly loves every single player on his team, and I can say that. Just off the relationship I have with him, with players staying, with players leaving, and how college football is, he still wants everyone to be successful, and he believes everyone has a gift, and he wants everyone to reach their potential.
As a special teams demon here, I know how much you love that role. Stacy Collins is back at Boise State. I've been out to a number of practices. You can see the intensity that he has to coaching up that position and making it an explosive, game-changing type position. What is Stacy Collins going to bring to this team and re-energize? How is he going to re-energize special teams in your opinion?
Just doing what he does best. He changes the culture on special teams, 1,000%. Just watching him and how he goes about things, and he's all about energy. He brings the most out of his players, and just from special teams when he was first here and now when he's back here, you expect nothing but top tier special teams, and just going through and watching the returners, catch kickoffs and punts in pregame. That's some of the best work I've seen across the board in terms of guys tracking the ball and catching it, as a whole group. So I'm excited about Coach Collins, and I think he's a blessing to this team and to Boise. So, yeah.
You're not even sweating, man. You must have adapted to the Georgia weather. I haven't, clearly. Last time I spoke with you was at the UW season opener, and it broke my heart because you were going into a season where you weren't going to get a play because you had an injury. We fast forward 12 months. How are you doing?
I mean, God is great. He's healed me completely, and I get to play the game I love, the game I grew up playing, and it means nothing more to me than be out there and play with my teammates.
We look forward to watching you in the NFL this year, Avery. You are one of the best, man. Happy to see you here. Catch up with you off cam in a little bit.
Go Broncos.
Avery Williams, a big-time fan favorite again, one of the best to ever do it at Boise State. We split now back to Boise, where Brady Frederick is standing by, and like I said, Brady, that's got to mean good things for the Broncos if 26 is in the house.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it really goes to show you how strong that Bronco brotherhood is, not only in the sense that guys like Avery Williams are showing up to the games, but there's so many of them in the NFL. I want to take a look over, because we mentioned how hot it is out there. I got to applaud you, Jay, for keeping dry so far. But in the heat, in the humidity, you got to, of course, be extremely efficient in the hydration process. But players are going to get tired. If you know anything about this team, it's that senior defensive end Ahmed Hassanein will do anything for his teammates. He is human, though, which means he does get tired. So when coaches need to give him a break, well, earlier this week, defensive coordinator Eric Chenander explained.
With a guy at almost any position where they're an impact player, I don't think there's a set rotation. It's going to be more about what's the number of reps where they can play concurrently, and then we have to get them a break.
It's really smart. They're being really smart with me in practices. Like they're like pulling me off because they know like my workload and they want me to do in the game. So they're kind of pulling me off of reps a little bit. It's just to take care of my body. But they're being very smart with me, and then they're putting me in when they need me to put me in so I can play certain situations, like 2-minute drives or something like that, so I can be ready for it.
If it's a 3 and out, like they may not need to come out. But all of a sudden, there's the drives going 6, 7, 8. What's the breaking point? With Ahmed, it's a little bit higher because he just plays really hard and he can find a way to keep it going. But the heat's going to become a factor. Through fall camp, we have the GPSs available to us, and we have a pretty good idea of what that point is based on the GPS loading. And we've kind of built it up, and we've seen now, like, here's what it is. And even if like to me, like even if he can still go as hard as he can go, there becomes a point, and I don't even know what the term is. The science guys, Coach Hilgart, like they know, but there's a point where there's some damage that could be done, or it's not safe for him to be out there anymore, and we've found that point for him.
Now, of course, if Ahmed Hassanin was playing all game, every game, there would be no more brick walls to run through, whether you're in Statesboro or in Boise. Of course, as Ahmed gets some time out and they sub in and out, Eric Chenander was extremely confident in the depth that they have at that position. Guys like Jaden Virgin Morgan had an incredible camp. They continue to harp and praise him. We're going to really see that depth get tested today.
Hey, Brady, I got great news for you. Because this entire facility, the field, all the way around, is protected by a brick wall. So I don't know if we'll run out of brick walls today. I think we got enough to get through this game for Ahmed Hassanin. It is. So we'll check back in with you in just a second, Brady. I want to take you live to the field, though, because you can see the guys are warming up, going through their pregame warm-up where they're getting ready to stretch, do some calisthenics and whatnot, and then soon they will break in to their team groups. You can see them breaking out of the hype circle. Right in front of you right here, we are with the cornerback position group. An interesting group because Boise State hit the transfer portal to try to address that this year. You can likely see number 20, Devon Banks, is going to provide some nice depth there. He transferred from Washington, actually had a great season opener last year playing against the Broncos. Now he's playing for the Broncos. Number 6, Jeremiah Irby, is a transfer from Cal. They have certainly upgraded their talent and depth at that position. And then, of course, returning, you have Markel Reed and Amarion McCoy. Amarion's going to get the start this year. Started 7 games last year, took over as a starting cornerback about midway through the season, but he will be the starting cornerback from the jump this year. Continue to kind of make our way around the field. And there you have Malachi Nelson getting warmed up and ready to go for the Boise State football team, I do believe. There he is with the quarterbacks getting loose. He lost the starting, I'm not going to say he lost the starting quarterback job. Maddox Madsen had it from the jump and hung on to it, but he did make it an interesting race, and he's going to continue to develop. Even earlier this week, Spencer Danison praised Malachi's development and said, we're going to need you at some point in time this year. Who knows when that is? Hopefully Maddox Madsen can carry the torch. Started 1 game last year, went pretty well for himself. Threw for 200 yards in the first half against New Mexico. Boise State blew out the Lobos that day, but he also suffered a season-ending injury in that contest. So this will be his first chance to test out his recovery process in a game and see how it goes. Throwing to Prince Strong, Latrell Caples. I expect number 3 to have a monster year. We're going to have more on him coming up in just a few minutes. Brady Frederick getting the chance to chat with Latrell about his comeback season. The tight end position is a fun one as well. Matt Lauder is going to be outstanding, but this guy right here, Matt Wagner, is a young kid that's really developed so far, and I expect him to play a big-time role in this offense. Listed as the backup tight end to Wagner, but as we know, Boise State loves to use tight ends in multiple formations, so I expect to see Matt and Matt on the field together this year. Luke Voorhees, a walk-on, but he's really made an impact in fall camp so far, and he's drawn praise to the point where he has worked his way up the depth chart, and I would not be surprised if he plays in today's game and gets some run with the number 1 offense. We continue to count down to kickoff, about 32 minutes to go. These two schools have never met, playing for the first time. We talk about the heat and humidity. I mentioned Boise State 11-3 all time when it comes to playing at kickoff at 90 degrees or above. Well, hey, don't let this small stadium fool you. This is a hostile environment. All-time Georgia Southern, I'm told, is 17-0 when they have at least 23,500 fans in the stands. The place holds about 26,000, and they are expecting a sellout today here at Paulson Stadium. Welcome to Paulson Stadium, home of the Georgia Southern football program. Built in 1984, former Eagle head coach Eric Russell once coined the phrase, the prettiest little stadium in America. That nickname stuck. Fans loved it, and to this day, that nickname resonates throughout the South. Capacity sits at just over 26,000, but don't let these cozy confines fool you. Georgia Southern plays well here. Their .817 home winning percentage over the last 40 years is the 4th best in all of the FBS. For over 30 years, Georgia Southern played on natural grass, but in 2016, they installed field turf. In 2023, they reinstalled it, this time with the latest and greatest. This is the same playing surface that many NFL teams use, like the Falcons and the Seahawks. The newest addition here at Paulson Stadium is the brand new $12.5 million practice facility that opened up just last year. And on top of it is the new video board and sound system that will debut against Boise State. If you're watching on the broadcast, you might notice an old school bus located in the west end zone. This is a part of their tradition. When they brought football back here over 40 years ago, they actually played at a local high school for the first season. This is how they got to and from practice. With that being said, the hometown scoreboard operator appears to be predicting quite the outcome between Boise State and Georgia Southern. The energy picking up here at Paulson Stadium. You have the Georgia Southern cheerleaders. The band is walking in. They really do a cool job here creating a nice game day environment on the campus of Georgia Southern. Approaching kind of the end of the pregame warm-ups here for Boise State. Keeping a close eye on the offensive line. We're going to see one-on-ones here in just a minute, and that's a position group that has been a little banged up. So a chance for us to kind of figure out who will be starting for Boise State on the offensive line today. We do know Maddox Matson's going to start at quarterback. Ashton Genty's obviously going to be at running back. Without a doubt, Cage Casey's going to start at left tackle. He was there as a redshirt freshman last year, and now he gets to come back as a sophomore with plenty more experience, and I expect him to have a big year. He's very comfortable in his role. Chase Penry missed a lot of time last year with an injury. You can see he's suited, booted, and ready to help on offense today. He'll help provide some depth at that slot position behind Latrell Caples. A true freshman will also likely get some snaps there in Cameron Bates, a true freshman that came in and earned early playing time when nobody really thought that anybody would as a true freshman at that position. Here we go. The number one offense is breaking, and it looks like Mason Randolph is running with the number one offense at the center position. That is certainly encouraging news. You have Ben Dooley at that left guard spot. At left tackle, Cage Casey. Over on the right side of the offensive line, Roger Carrion will start at right guard, with Hall Schmidt set to make his debut as the starting right tackle for the Boise State football team. So the Broncos are full go in the season opener on the offense. Every number one player listed on the top of the depth chart is here and ready to play today. The number one offense taking turns with the number one defense here at Paulson Stadium with about 27 minutes to go until kickoff. Looks like Prince Strawn should get the start today at wide receiver. On the opposite side of the field, you have Austin Bolt. Both of those guys were in highly contested position battles during spring ball, but it's going to be the local product from Bora and the young kid from the Bahamas that will be playing for Boise State as starters today at wide receiver. The number 2 defense going against the number 2 offense right now. Zion Washington at the strong safety position. Kanoe Kaniho at the free safety position, with Rodney Robinson working in at the nickel spot. So this is certainly encouraging news if you ask me, because a lot of times out of fall camp, you kind of await injury news and see who is and isn't available. But right now, it looks like Boise State came out of fall camp very healthy, and the cupboard will be stocked today in the season opener against Georgia Southern. So with that, the guys are headed off the field back into the locker room for the final time. The next time we see them, it will be ready. They will be ready for kickoff here at Georgia Southern. So with that being said, Brady, gonna go find a little bit of shade until kickoff, I think. We're gonna send it back to you, closing into kickoff. Happy game day to you and the rest of Bronco Nation, and we will see you all tonight during the news at 10.
All right, Jay, well, we look forward to it. We're going to stick around here on Bronco Roundup Game Day for a little bit, try to take you closer to kickoff. Of course, one of the main storylines we haven't hit on just yet is that of the guy who might have generated more hype than any Boise State player in recent memory. Of course, we're talking about Ashton Jeanty. Take a listen.
Hands it off to Jeanty up the middle. Breaks clear. Nobody's going to catch him. Ashton Jeanty again.
There are a lot of great running backs in college football right now. All these other guys are at Power 5 schools, but I think at the end of the day, I'll prove that I'm the best.
One, top one, I'd say.
Jeanty again, sheds tacklers.
Most of these guys, they're good at one thing.
Hurdles a man.
They're either fast or they're strong. He's fast and strong and athletic and shifty. He's definitely the hardest person that I think I had to go up against.
Hand off Jeanty right side. Jeanty will get to the 5. Jeanty to the 4. Keeps his balance. Did he score? He stretched the ball out.
I like his game a lot. He's a really, really great back. I watched his film a couple times. I take from him, he has really great contact balance, like really great contact balance. It's honestly surreal.
Yeah, great. That's probably one word I can say about him if I was to put it into one word. He's phenomenal.
Green, quick handoff to Jeanty. Went right, cut back to the left.
He could be running full speed, about to make a move and get hit in the middle of his move, and his shoulders are still parallel. They're still pointing north to south, and he's still getting downhill.
High steps into the end zone, and the Broncos take the lead.
For being back at his size, too, he has some great feet on him as well.
One of the quickest persons I've ever seen touch the rock. He has a great feel of playing that running back position.
Into the clear, to the 40, to the 50, to the 40, hurdles a man, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown, Ashton Jeanty.
I've got the highest amount of respect for a player as I could have for him. The ball in his hands out in open space, his vision, ability to break tackles, make people miss. I think he's one of the elite backs in college football.
Go to the run, Jeanty untouched to midfield. Tacklers trying to knock him down, they can't. He spins, and another huge run for Jeanty.
We had a problem defending him and tackling him last year. It's hard to stop a player with that mentality who you know is going to bring it every game. He's one of the best backs in college football for sure.
Hand off Jeanty, left side, untouched into the end zone.
I don't do this just to be any other player. I do feel I'm the best.
And you might have seen it, Boise State has launched a website to campaign for Ashton Jeanty to win the Heisman Trophy. It's called Heisman.com, except that S is replaced, of course, with Ashton Jeanty's number 2. Now, it's a great game to debut that Heisman campaign, a matchup that Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton called one of the premier games this weekend. His Eagles facing off with BSU, who he described as a storied program with a lot of success at the highest level. And Helton, of course, has coached against some great competition during his time, working his way up through the ranks, eventually becoming the head coach at USC. When he took over at Georgia Southern in 2022, they were coming off a 3-9 season. So far, he's brought them to back-to-back 6-win seasons, but he's looking to take that next step forward. Of course, Boise State stands in his way in the home opener. He's keying in on one of their skill players. Yeah, you probably could guess which one.
Yeah, definitely. You know, having been on the West Coast for 12 years at USC, know Boise State extremely well and the pride that comes with that football program and the quality of talent that's on that football team. You know, when you look at us, we're going to have to do a great job, number one, of trying to slow down Ashton, you know, one of the premier running backs in the country. I don't know if you can stop him, but you got to try to slow him down, not only in the run game, but also, you know, the leading running back receiver in the country last year. There's not too many running backs that are a watch list of the Blitnikoff Award. So, you know, 1,900 yards last year and he gets injured late. So, you know, you're going to have to do a great job defensively. We do have a veteran defensive front that has worked really hard to put themselves in position. These are kids that we've now going into our 3rd season with. They've got a huge task at hand.
It is an incredible roster that Boise State returns this year. We have Ashton Jeanty, we have Maddox Madsen named the starting quarterback. Guys like true sophomore safety Ty Benefield are some of the guys who have really made a name for themselves throughout fall camp, have had a lot of the spotlight. But one guy might stand at the top of the list, at least throughout fall camp. That is wide receiver Latrell Caples. In fact, offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter said he had the most impressive fall camp out of anyone in the loaded wide receiver room the Broncos boast. He missed all of last season with an injury, but in case anybody forgot what kind of elite playmaker he is, I have a feeling fans will quickly remember what Caples is capable of. The start of the season hits a little different after the game has been taken away from you.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like, on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm a billion. So I come in here every day just so grateful.
Before an Achilles injury took him off the field for the entirety of the 2023 season, Latrell Caples led Boise State's wide receivers in yards, receptions, and touchdowns, keeping pace with reigning All-Mountain West wide receivers Torrey Horton and Ricky White III. He's ready to get back in that conversation.
You know, I have full confidence in myself that I can be one of the best receivers in the country. And that's how I come in here and work every day. That's how I come in here and lead. I come in here with a relentless mindset. If somebody want to come take what's off my plate, they don't have to come take it for real, because I'm not going to let them have it.
He shared time on the sidelines with fellow wide receiver Austin Bolt. A connection formed through the shared experience of fighting to get back on the field.
Kind of doesn't put us on the same page that we kind of like both don't want to take this sport for granted, especially this season, because we've been here for such a long time and this season is special. So
just being able to talk to each other and rely on each other through hard times like that, I mean, but we've always been connected since we came in here together.
Caples has been a standout through spring ball and fall camp. He racked up nearly 200 yards in the final team scrimmage.
I mean, that's earned. By Latrell Caples, everything's earned.
The stats and the big plays have been impressive, but the team has been more impressed with his leadership, mentality, and the approach he brings to every rep.
I mean, he's a physical blocker in the run game, but he also is like, he'll run for the love of the game routes where he knows he's not getting the ball, but he's just going to do it because he cares more about this team than he does getting the ball.
It's who he is also as a leader. I mean, this young man is holding the standard in everything he does. He's the guy on the sideline. Let's go, stay locked in. Let's go, stay locked in. In a walkthrough, he's walking back and forth, taking a peek to make sure everybody's getting the signal, doing what they should. And he deserves everything he's getting. He knows how precious that is to him, and he's not wasting any moment.
With his perspective, Caples doesn't take reps off.
It became who I was over the injury.
He literally hasn't missed a rep throughout the preseason. A mentality that has become contagious at Boise State.
I tell them, like, it got taken away from me, so it's not a play, it's not a snap, it's not a down or a day that I'm not coming here ready to work.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our show today. We're going to jump out of this so that you can flip over to ESPNU and turn this game on. There's no slide today. Kickoff is officially set for 2:05 here on Mountain Time. We, of course, are going to have highlights tonight on the news at 10, and immediately after the game, or about 15 or so minutes after the game, you should tune over to the KTVB YouTube channel, where we will be live streaming the post-game press conference. Hopefully, it's Spencer Danielson and a handful of standout Boise State student athletes talking about a big season opening win. It would be their first since back in 2020. We'll see you tonight on the news at 10. Thanks for watching.